Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps. It is I, your host with the most renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back for another SmackDown breakdown, courtesy of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show. And with that being said, you can't have Pitts and Sara's wrestling show without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. Sara, what's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. It is me. It is me. It is on TT.
I wanted to come up with something that you could actually use for like after that plays, where it's like,
Yes.
it's me, it's Sara. What's your middle name? Elizabeth?
Catherine.
Okay.
Too bad it wasn't Sara Lee,
Or Sara C.
I guess, but that sounds lame.
That's bland. I don't like that either.
Oh, well.
I did want to, before we jump right into things, I did want to bring this up because Friday nights before I started the new job, I would go Friday Night SmackDown into Rampage into Nonsense, and I'd be up till like 2. It was awesome. But now I work Saturdays. We got to be asleep, as we had to rewatch SmackDown today when we got back from work because I fell asleep right after. I think it was the Bianca going into Adam Pearce segment. So we had to rewatch it. The fact that Billy Gunn is still wrestling and not terrible in the ring with JR calling the match. If time is a flat circle, I swear to God.
I mean, I guess so. I don't watch, so it's not.
No, but obviously know who those two people are, and
yes.
you know how old it, like the fact that we're in 2023, and obviously you would think that stars move on and they go on a different paths, but Billy Gunn, who's pretty much been in every era of wrestling at this point, it feels like, is still doing it, and he's being called by the same guy who called his, I would say, the prime of his career. It's just wild to me. I don't know.
It is. That is.
I just had to get that out because I was watching that, and then the next thing to pop on screen is Arn Anderson. I was like, we need to shut this off and go to something else, because it just feels like it doesn't matter what time period. It's the same characters every single year. Hilarious. But yes, SmackDown.
Into a
what?
Time.
I feel like I did. I really feel like I stepped into a time machine and I'm just hitting buttons when I go to sleep.
Sorry, my eye froze for a second there. I don't know if it was my internet or yours, but
You did, and I just checked.
Okay. I don't know. I always have internet issues when I'm streaming for some reason.
Can you hear me? It's a lot of power. I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
I'm delayed.
Can you hear me now? You're delayed? That's brutal.
Okay, hold on. Let me come back.
All right. I'll hold things down in the fort. 2 people watching right now. If you have any questions for the champ of the peeps, this is the time to ask it, because I have to just keep this show going like a champion does. All right. I can keep it going. Oh, hold those questions. Okay. How we doing?
Okay.
That was weird. You had to step out of the art of streams for a little bit.
Yeah, I think I was delayed from the internet issue.
Brutal.
So I was like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, online issues we're having here. SmackDown has their bloodline issues. Whoa! Segues.
All right.
Great way to start the show. Sara, take it away. What happened on SmackDown?
So the bloodline story dominates SmackDown once again, but this is one of those times that I'm not going to complain about it because it's changing so much. There's so many twists and turns. I can't be mad about what's going on. So Paul and Solo start in the ring, and before they can even say anything, basically, Jay comes out. He says he's not sure that he can forgive Solo for what he did to Jimmy last week. And he says, you don't do that to your brother, dude. And he said he was ready to hear what Paul had to say. And this is where I thought it was interesting. This is where like the new twist comes in, which I thought was interesting because I don't know that we necessarily like predicted this to be a twist. But Paul goes on to say that the issues within the bloodline are nobody's fault but Jimmy's. And he says that Jimmy is mad and resentful of Jay because he always knew that Roman was grooming him to be the next tribal chief. So that I think is a really interesting, I don't know. I find that an interesting switch because you knew that there was probably going to be some sort of manipulation to make it easier for Jay to choose, Roman's side over Jimmy's. But I don't think I was anticipating this, like, to be the
No.
next tribal chief. But I think I've talked about this before.
We have. We've
Okay.
it's been brought up in the sense where it's, Jay is being the next tribal chief. To me, what this does is everyone thinks it's going one way, and then the WWE goes, "Hold on. Have you been watching this entire time?
Mm-hmm.
Jay was the one that was the main tag protagonist, whatever you want to call it, at the beginning of this whole bloodline story.
Yeah.
So of course he's going to be like that's the obvious way to go because look at what he was doing in what they were doing is mainly in those matches and the story that was being told there. Like those, and because they're family and he's the older, whatever, he's obviously teaching him his ways so that he can continue that. So it makes so much sense. And this is why it's such a joy to watch SmackDown each week because you're getting new information like a new episode of your favorite Netflix show. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same old shit. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, the fact they're going down this way. Now it's a bloodline. Okay, so this championship to me, this is the bloodline championship. So when I hear any of these, oh, are they going to do a unification, all this? No, it's the
What
bloodline.
what championship?
People are like talking online about how they're going to try to have Seth Roman at Mania 40 and unify the titles.
Okay, they're on crack. That's not happening.
That's what I'm trying to tell them. And they're not listening to the change.
There's a whole reason why they created a second title and it wasn't to unify it. People are so dumb. Stop following children.
I don't know if they're children or not.
They're probably children. They probably all have pictures of wrestlers as their profile photo.
Okay, some do. We'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, so this is the bloodline title, and everyone now is going to get behind Jay and Jimmy if we'll get to the main event. But yeah, I just love this element they're going down because it actually glues you and sucks you into the story more rather than being like, oh, it's predictable, they're doing this, that, and the other thing, bloodline story wrapped up. It's keeping you in for that, to go the story along.
Mm-hmm. So continuing with this whole like, oh, we're just like trying to look out for you, you're the new tribal chief, we're doing special stuff for you. Paul says, we set up a match for you. It's actually straight from the tribal chief himself, and you will be in a United States Championship match tonight against Austin Theory, but I need your decision now. Jay says, I am happy to take on that match, but I owe you that decision, and he leaves. So we're just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Incredible.
Like, you knew that he wasn't going to do the decision, especially when you see that they're starting the show. I'm like, it's not happening right now. This isn't happening. So then later we see Sami Zayn. He just can't get himself away from the bloodline storyline. And so he talks to Jay backstage and just gives him the rundown, being like, this was when I was a part of the bloodline, it was the best time in my career. And some of it was actually the best in my life. And I know that that's the same for you. He tells him that you're being manipulated by Roman to choose between your brother and your other brother and him the same way that he did that to me with Kevin. And when he's in tribal chief mode, there's no stopping him. He will do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And you need to make sure that you listen to your heart and not what is being fed into your ear. So I was like, okay, Sammy. Jay really doesn't say anything, but I did love how Sammy was like, when I would just like make you laugh, even when you
Oh,
weren't trying to laugh. I was like, oh
like
my God. Like,
hey, right there, he did it, and then he called him out. Like it was like genuine. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Oh, it just felt so good.
Yes. So
I
then we
I had
see.
some comments about this.
Oh, okay. Go
I
ahead.
just had one. I just had one in
Okay.
the sense where I don't really. I'm actually for Sammy doing these little backstage stuff right now because this is the part where Jay's kind of trying to figure out who's right, who's wrong, and whose side to be on. And you need Sammy as the voice of reason because he did get out. He's with his long lost brother essentially, and he still is connected. Like he was in the bloodline. He was probably one of the major players in the bloodline. You have to keep him involved in some way, shape, or form. I like how KO is not involved in these backstage segments because he doesn't need to be. And I like how it's like, can we go back to this because they respect their boundaries in that sense? That's great friendship right there too. Another element. Love
Yeah,
it.
I think it makes sense because we saw everything that unfolded when Sammy was in the bloodline and how it was like tumultuous even for Jay, that it was a hard decision for him to be like, okay, what do I do? So it's like repeating history because at that point he was like, do I go with Sammy? Do I listen to what Sammy is saying because he saw everything that Sammy was saying to be true, or do I stay with my family? And now he's kind of like back at that point again, but this time instead of it being Sammy, it's his actual blood brother, which is interesting when you think about the things that he said to Sammy when he finally was rejoining the bloodline and being like, why do you think I would ever listen to you? You're not my brother, you're not blood, you're not my family. I'm always going to stick with my family. So now you're like, okay, so he's probably replaying all these moments in his head, but this time it's going to be a more difficult decision because Jimmy is his brother. If I mean they're closer than brothers, they're twins.
Yeah, they
So
shared
it's
a
like,
womb.
yeah,
Like
yeah. So it's like, again, it's like I said, and we've said a million times on here that it really is like history repeating itself. But this time it's just going to be a little bit more difficult for Jay to figure out what he wants to do because it's not a guy like Sammy that he didn't really have a very close relationship with prior to all of the bloodline drama. This is his brother. So he's at that situation where he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. So, I don't know. I think it's interesting. So later we see another segment with Jay. He's in the locker room. Paul is continuing his manipulation, of course, on behalf of Roman. Paul tells Jay that I need your suit measurements and your passport because you're going to be flying on Roman's private plane to Money in the Bank. And he says that they will be having a triple celebration next week for one, the return of Roman to SmackDown, which is like so ridiculous that we have to do this every
it's
single week.
awesome. I love it. It's
It's
so
so
Hulk Hogan.
and then for Jay winning the US title and for publicly acknowledging Jay as the next tribal chief. But then Jay has another twist to the story and he says, that sounds great, blah, blah, blah. But if I return to the bloodline, you won't be there. And I was like, okay, because we hadn't considered that aspect. Like, we've talked about how they might break up the bloodline and who might be the one or how it would happen, but we kind of never considered the idea of Paul leaving. So I find it interesting because that's going to be a weird thing for Roman to have to decide as well, because obviously Paul is not his blood and
No.
he
Yeah, you're
emphasizes
right.
family so much. And it's like, okay, so if Jay agrees to come back to the bloodline only if Paul is not there, it's like, then what will Roman decide? Because if he says, let's say Jay says, I'll come back as long as Paul is gone, right? Let's say Roman then goes through that whole process, fires the wise man. And then Jay was like, LOL, just kidding. Like, there's no going back from that moment for Roman. Paul is going to be pissed. He's going to be hurt. He's going to move on and do something else. Oh my God, what if he then went on to like represent Cody? That would be like the ultimate betrayal. No, just because of their matchup, just because of people hyping up like WrestleMania
I know, but
40.
it's just like when it's like when you mix oil and water.
No,
And
what you know what I'm saying? Just the
I
ultimate
know
betrayal. Like if this were like
wrestler's
last
mind.
year, then he could go with Brock Lesnar. But
I know what you mean. I know where you're going with that, so I agree with that sentiment. But the thought of Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes, just like
it's
I
weird.
don't know, it just made Cody really slimy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So
yes,
then
good
we
point.
get to,
Good point though.
yeah. So then we get to the main event: Austin Theory versus Jey Uso. Main event: Jey Uso for
Go
the
off.
United States Championship.
So good.
It was a good match, and it was full of a lot of action. There was a whole lot going on in this match. So, we first see that a super kick from Jey to Theory pushes Theory into the ref, that then has Jey pin him for basically like 7 seconds. So it was like, oh my god, he won the
It
US
was
title.
classic. It was classic WWE.
And it's like, it's kind of one of those moments too where you're conflicted on how you feel, you know, because you're like, would you like to see him have his first singles championship? Yes, but you also know that if he wins it, that he would be like further into going back into the bloodline, because that was part of the aspect of going back. So you're kind of like, how do I feel
Brilliant.
about this? I
So
don't
brilliant.
know. And then Pretty Deadly apparently is still in touch with
How much did you pop?
I
Be
mean,
be honest.
I'm obsessed.
That you
So I
saw
mean,
Pretty Deadly in the main event of SmackDown. Like
I know.
that's a cool moment for you.
I think
Happy
it's
for you.
interesting that they're
Remy too.
continuing. I know, she's so annoying. I find it interesting that they're keeping them connected, at least like temporarily, you know? So, I don't know, that's fun. So they came out and they hit Jay, but Jimmy comes out and then they like scatter. They're just like, all right, never mind. Then Solo's there. He takes out Jimmy. He sets him up for the Samoan spike, but Jay cuts him off. Then Jimmy accidentally
Callback
super
City.
kicks Jay, and Theory wins because of all the chaos. So at the end, we see Jay is pissed about what happened. Obviously, not just because he lost the championship, but because then it's like, okay, why did you get involved, brother? Like, you are the reason why I lost this. So adding more to that dynamic, maybe making it easier for him to choose against his brother. Jimmy tries to explain himself, but Jay is pissed and just leaves the ring. Solo and Paul are just standing there kind of like, I told you so. And then Paul is like, call Roman Reigns.
It is my new favorite thing when Paul Heyman goes, where's my phone? Just a little call Roman Reigns. It's
I
what
know.
it is. Oh god.
And I'm like, don't you have to say Siri? Like, can you really even do that just on your phone? Just on your
Okay.
iPhone, just say it.
So if you look at his hand position, it's on the home button, and when you hit the home button, Siri pops up.
Got it.
So it's like a there you go.
You got a good eye.
That's what the champ does.
We got to a point where this story was becoming like kind of stale just because there wasn't a whole lot going on. It was just kind of like, okay, like, what are we doing here? We were sick of the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn involvement because, again, that's played out. It basically ended at Mania. If not, you want to say like when they had their rematch, okay, that was it. Like, we're done with this.
Yeah.
But there are so many new layers to the story now, because now we have what's going to happen between Jay and Jimmy. What's Jay's decision going to be? What is Roman's decision on Paul Heyman going to be, depending on if Jay decides he wants to come back? What's going to happen if Jay says, I'm choosing Jimmy? Like, what is Solo going to do? Like, there's so many different things for this to go. And it's funny because we've talked about the rumor of Roman being champion until WrestleMania 40, and how I'm like, for me, and I think even you, we both shared that, oh god, that sounds disgusting. That's so ridiculous. And as much as I'm like almost coming around to it in a degree because of how this story is going, I can't say in a month that I'll still feel this way. It could change by next week. You know what I mean? But like, if they keep making the story this good and this intriguing and like investing people in it, I think that you can kind of come around to the idea of Roman being champion, as long as we see him defend it. Because that's my biggest issue. I don't care if he stays champion. Like, I do and I don't. But I don't care more if he's defending it and not just sitting at home on major pay-per-views. That's when I get irritated, because then it's like, why are you champion? And how are we supposed to respect your reign if you're not even defending it? So, you know, if it did come down to the bloodline storyline being drawn out all the way to WrestleMania 40, and maybe it is that he is against Cody Rhodes at Mania 40
He's
and
against
Cody
Jay.
dethrones him. I'm just saying, you know, people want it to be Cody. So if we're believing that, I think that could be good. But
Oh, would be
again, we have
Cody.
to see how well they can keep this interesting.
What if they did a triple threat? Jay versus Roman versus Cody.
See, I don't know. I don't hate it, but I also feel like I would rather see Cody win in like a one-on-one match. I want it to, like, if the end game is for Cody to dethrone Roman, which, you know, if that's what we're supposed to believe, because obviously we've talked about, we think it's going to be a bloodline member. But if we're going to stick to, we're going to see a rematch a year later, then I would like it to be Cody, like, one-on-one, because we already saw the Usos interfere at WrestleMania 39. So it would just be kind of interesting for it to be the two just one-on-one, you know, without him having to deal with another person, similar to how he had to deal with their interference and whatever. I would prefer it to be just a clean, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they would cheat or something, but I would also kind of feel bad in a way if it was like Jay, and then Jay has all this buildup for him to then lose to Cody, and, you know, instead of
Yeah, true. That makes
dethroning,
sense.
I feel like that would be kind of sucky.
Yeah, that would be sucky. I'll agree with that. I just want to see Jay be the one, but like also want to see Cody Rhodes finally get that moment. So I'm
I
really
know.
conflicted.
And that's the thing. Think about it too. Like, I'm not, again, this is the type of stuff that can change so drastically from now, like I said,
Oh,
even in a month from now. But Cody beating like the longest reigning WWE Universal Undisputed whatever, you know, I feel like that would make it so much more satisfying than him just winning the championship. You know, the fact that
mm-hmm.
if Roman is champion for another year almost, and Cody is the one to end that, I feel like that will be kind of like a way to apologize to all the fans that were so disappointed about the result at WrestleMania 39 and so upset and feeling like they made a mistake in not having Cody win. I feel
Yeah.
like, wouldn't it be more satisfying if this is a dude who has been champion for like 1,300 days and no one has even come close to him the last 50 years? Like,
Yeah.
I feel, you know, he would be that would go down in the history books.
And that would be that moment that you can be like, we did it, Dad, and pay the respect to the win he never got. You know, all that. Oh, it would be. And
Oh my.
this thought when you said, like, brought up Cody losing at 39 again, it just made me feel like, and I know you never saw Marvel and the Infinity series with Avengers, but it
Mhm.
felt like Infinity War to me. I know, because
Mhm.
I know there are peeps listening that are Marvel fans. It felt like Infinity War in
Mhm.
the sense where they lost and you're like, wait, the good guys, like, they're supposed to win. You
Yeah.
know, that's the whole point of this. And then you realize that there's gonna be a part two. Okay. There's gonna be that next movie. There's gonna be that next story that comes along where the good guy ultimately wins. What better setting than Mania? Because yeah, you could have took the easy way and got won the Rumble to win it. But no, it's more satisfying if what if he doesn't have to win the Rumble, but he has to do like something else at the Royal Rumble where like maybe he has to feed Jay or Solo again, or
Yeah.
maybe there's more Usos or there's more henchmen, that
Yeah.
Roman's using that he has to, go
That's
through.
what I said.
I do. You froze again, but I do remember that. We're having technical difficulties, peeps. This is an image. This is an image. All right, hold on. Let's boot Sara from the yard back black screen. Okay, so that worked out real well. Okay. Let's get some comments here. I'll say, yeah, movement. Yeah, that's the eyes. That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. Okay. And then entertainment. All right. I do too. But we'll bring this up when Sarah's back because we do want to talk about this. So if you have any other questions, peeps, in the comment section, let me know so we can keep the story going. Hold on. Sarah's calling me. Hello.
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 Hi, we had a power surge, so my power is out right now.
Sarah's power is out right now.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen.
All right. Well, I will continue the show, or we'll figure out. Okay.
Okay, I'll call you back if I figure out if they can fix it.
Okay. I'll keep it
Okay,
going
bye.
for a little bit, but yeah, let me know.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. I don't know if anyone all heard that, but yeah. So Sarah had a power surge. Okay. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, pretty much power. This sucks. Yes, it does. It does suck, David. But if anyone has any comments about SmackDown or anything right now, let me know. This can be a nice time. We can just chit the chat, shoot the shit, whatever you want to say, because the champ keeps things moving. We might have to push it till tomorrow. Who knows? I know. It is stupid. I agree, David. I'm not too pleased either with the circumstances, but you got to pivot. Okay, so you got to pivot. It sucks. I can't believe we gained more viewers after this. Incredible. So I'll keep this going for a little bit before we have to. So we got there. And all right, so I'll continue this here. Money in the Bank qualifying matches. Mustafa Ali versus Santos. I love this match. That was really cool. Oh, David. Okay. Honestly, all right. I thought you were talking about the power surge. So sorry about that. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Let's do that. Let's pivot here. Where are you? All right, we'll talk about this. So Charlotte Flair should not be getting a shot at the women's championship match. I agree. This is stupid. You know, I don't think she deserves a shot right now. But here's the thing. Okay. And before I get, actually, no, I'll bring that up and then go to your next point. Okay. You need to have Charlotte Flair back. She was drafted onto SmackDown for a reason. And you unveiled a new title, obviously have her come out. But what they're doing with this is they're not going to put the title on her. I saw something on Twitter where, you're going to have Asuka be a transitional champion. I don't think that's the case. Asuka's so hot right now, trending like in the right direction to be, I would say, a generational champion for that title. And you need Charlotte Flair in the mix at the start to kind of kickstart that legacy in a way. So I'm okay with her doing that. And what it does too is we saw the segments with Bianca backstage with Adam Pearce. Those were great segments, to show that she's going back to her NXT roots and doing a little bit of a, tease at a heel. I think it's a great thing for them to do. And I'm okay with it. You need to do something new with Bianca. You need to do something new with her because she's just had this championship reign. She got screwed out of it. That would piss off anybody. So have her go on a, kind of a terror reign right now, trying to get her title back. Who's someone in the way of that? It's Charlotte Flair. Did this fall off? What happened? Okay. It's Charlotte Flair. Okay. And then you finally get your Bianca Charlotte feud that we all deserve. Honestly, that's a hell of a feud. Doesn't matter if Charlotte's heel or not. I don't even think she knows how to be a face, to be quite honest with you, because she's got that Flair blood in her, where she's beloved for being Charlotte Flair. Bianca needs a little bit of an edge to her right now. And what better way to have an edge than go after Charlotte Flair? Asuka, what's going to happen is whoever is the Money in the Bank winner, that's going to be the feud right away, it feels like, or at least in the next few months, maybe leading up to SummerSlam, something like that. Or maybe you get a triple threat match at SummerSlam. Asuka, Bianca, Charlotte, whatever the outcome is, Sarah and I will probably talk about that at a later date. And then you have the Money in the Bank cash in at SummerSlam. What a better way to have a cash in than at the biggest party of the summer. They got to bring back that moniker. They really do. I love that moniker. All right, let's. I don't know what's happening here. I'm gonna wait another. I'll wait like 10 minutes. Off topic to go back into topics. Does anyone in the comment section, when you guys were in school, did you ever have a rule like if the teacher didn't show up for class where you could leave after 15 minutes? I just that was one thing in my high school where we would have class periods, whatever. All right. Oh, we have an update from the Best of the West. Hello, Miss Sara Marshall.
Hi. Apparently there's a power outage in my area, so.
Oh.
Yeah. So we can just try and reschedule it because I mean we only got through one topic.
Yeah, we'll push. We'll push.
Okay. I'll let you know.
All right, whatever. We'll make it work. You know what I'll do? I'll finish the show. We'll finish it off. Oh, okay, then Monday. I don't care. Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'll let the peeps know in the comment section. Yeah, you got it. All right, so we got some breaking bad news here. I'm so sorry to inform you guys of this, but this will have to be pushed until Monday. Okay. Sarah had a power outage. All right, shit happens. We can't get upset about it. We tried. We did our best effort to put on the show. But when stuff like this happens, you got to pivot. And I would continue the show, but Sarah's right. This is her channel, which subscribe, Sara Marshall XO on YouTube. It's her channel, and she needs to get her opinions out too, because that's what the champ does. Okay, the champ does. I will be gone. I will be so gone. This is what the champ does. He lets the peeps speak as well, and obviously Sara, her channel. So we're gonna have to pivot this to Monday. So what you got to do is now hit that bell in Sarah's YouTube channel to notify when we go live on Monday for this, because tomorrow is Sarah's nephew's birthday. Everyone wish him a happy birthday. And yeah, this sucks. This is terrible, especially with 6 people in the comments right now. I'd stay if we had a livelier convo, whatever. But yeah, the champ's got plans hitting the town tonight, and so we will just pivot this to Monday. All right. Deuces.